I'm Jennifer Taggart for Healthy Child, Healthy World. And today with me is Mandy because we're going to make some homemade Halloween makeup. Why would you want to make homemade Halloween makeup? Well, unfortunately, conventional makeup products, particularly theatrical makeup used around Halloween, can contain a number of potentially harmful chemicals, including hormone-disrupting phthalates, which are frequently hidden in the term fragrance. Phthalates support the fragrance note and cause fragrance to, one, absorb to your skin, but also to last longer. And the term fragrance can encompass all the synthetic fragrance components in addition to phthalates. And we don't want to expose our skin to phthalates. Your skin is your largest organ, and cosmetic products and the ingredients in them can penetrate the skin and be carried into your bloodstream. There's lots of other potentially harmful chemicals in makeup products. If you have particular questions, you can actually go to the Skin Deep Cosmetic Safety Database and look up what the rankings are for various chemical ingredients. There aren't a lot of Halloween makeup products in that database because they only come out around Halloween, but you can look up the individual ingredients making up that product. But why spend the money? You can make it all at home with stuff that you have in your pantry. One of the things that's most commonly used is like a paint makeup, what you would use to make a clown face or maybe a skeleton face. And you can make that at home. All you need is some cornstarch, some white flour, some vegetable glycerin, and some vegetable shortening. You don't need that much. It's not like you're making frosting, so you don't want to make a big batch of it. You only want to make a little batch. So you need 10 teaspoons of cornstarch. Mix that in a small bowl with 2 teaspoons of white flour, along with 5 teaspoons of vegetable shortening. And you want to mix that together. You'll first form little beads as the shortening breaks down, and then keep mixing and it'll get smooth. While you're mixing it, once you get to the bead stage, add the vegetable glycerin. You want about a 1/4 teaspoon of the vegetable glycerin, and then keep mixing it up till you form what amounts to frosting looking substance. You can add a little bit more of the glycerin if you want it to be smoother. And you'll end up with a white looking paste that you can use as your makeup base if you're doing, for example, a skeleton or a clown base. Then just separate it into little balls and you can add your coloring. You can add an organic food coloring to make your colors, or you can experiment with things like beet juice to make a reddish purple or turmeric to make an orange. And the good thing about it is it's actually edible. Although I wouldn't eat it, it doesn't actually taste all that good, but it is edible. So if you're applying it to your kids, you don't have to worry about them being exposed to potentially harmful chemicals or getting something in their mouth that is really not good for them to eat. This is completely edible. So it's almost like a cold cream consistency. So you can apply it to the face. So Mandy's going to be subjected here to it. So you just kind of paint it on. It is a little bit thicker than a Halloween makeup. So if she wanted to be a cat, we made, for example, black and a red and a yellow here, so we could put a dot on her nose and try to make a triangle there on camera. And then if we wanted to do whiskers, you'd probably want to do a paintbrush for the whiskers, but you can literally just paint it on, just like you would the conventional Halloween makeup, but this is completely edible, and you don't have to worry about your kids being exposed to harmful chemicals. Another thing that kids frequently want is a goopy. You want to make warts or burn scars or anything like that, and that's a little bit different recipe. You're going to take 1 ounce of gelatin found in your baking aisle, and to that you're going to add 2 tablespoons of boiling water. Let sit for at least 3 minutes until it starts to sort of solidify, and then you want to pour it out onto a nonstick surface. So you can use a cutting board, or better yet, you can even use wax paper, and then once it's there, you can shape it to form what you want. If you want a wart, do a wart. If you want to have a large burn scar, spread it out. If your gelatin's colored, that's what it's going to look like. So if you're doing burn scars, you might want to use pink or red. If you're going to do warts, you might just want to use the clear gelatin. And then once it starts to form up, you can do mix-ins. If you add sugar, it'll give it a grainy appearance. If you add you can make a wart look hairy if you add some textiles to it, like some yarn or something. Here I've made like a swamp monster, which I've added a pepper to the green, so I can do a swamp monster. And to this green, I've actually added just a cornstarch, and if I paint her, we're going to make her swamp thing now. So it's just a green, and you can actually form it up and make like warts, which is You got to let it sit a little bit longer, and you can stick hairs on the top if you want to be the Wicked Witch of the East, for example. So that's how you can do homemade makeup. Another recipe some people do is corn syrup. You can use the corn syrup and mix it with a red food coloring to make a blood. And you can use corn syrup to adhere the warts and stuff to the face. That's how you get them to stick on if you're going to let them sit and completely solidify before putting them on. So just use a little bit of corn syrup. You want to make this the day you're going to use the makeup. You probably don't want it sitting around too long. But those are some quick tips to make your own homemade Halloween makeups and avoid exposure to harmful chemicals. Plus, it's a lot cheaper, and you probably have almost everything in your pantry right now. I'm Jennifer Taggart for Healthy Child, Healthy World.